right there. Can't help himself come the full-time whistle. Kit and Paul with me in the studio. Thanks for coming back. Lots to dig into. Kit, I have to say, what an enjoyable 90 minutes of football. I mean, even more so that we won. But Fulham came and gave us a great game, but City getting that all-important win.
Yeah, I thought Fulham were excellent today. You've got to say full credit to them. They looked a really good side. Substitutions coming on. Made them strong as well, so they look a good outfit this season. So makes it an even more important win and a big win.
Because you saw Brentford come and really try and not just sit back and defend, but were a threat. I can think of the same as well. Inter Milan when they were here, Arsenal of course, and now I see Fulham. They didn't come here just to sit back and put 10 men behind the ball. It's a trend that starts.
Sensible, and it's that counter. City, I think teams will see are vulnerable on the transition to the counter-attack. So, again, we spoke at the start about the way Fulham set up, so they know Smith Rowe, so a bit more defensive in their initial setup, but then they were breaking from a good defensive shape. Left Traore up top, who was always going to be a threat.
For today's game, thank you, Ali, and thank you, Andy. Let's dig into the game then, and as Andy said there, we go 1-0 down, Paul, early on. And that's happened a few times. How important is it to do what Andy said and that we have to look at not conceding first here? Because lucky that Traore didn't get that second, as Andy said as well.
Yeah, it was, and gave a big shout out to Ederson because the 2-0 the way Fulham were playing in the first half, it would have been very difficult to get back. But yeah, it's strange because the 4 in a row and everything else it's been based on as much. It's fantastic we are going forward, but it's been based on a real good defensive unit. And what it does, it gives teams a chance, especially if we concede earlier on in the game. You can see Fulham after they scored, they grew and got better and got the confidence from the goal as well. So it is a slight problem, but we have got the players to come back from it. But I'm sure it's something that will be addressed coming up as well.
Just from what do you think it is that maybe needs to be looked at? Is it positioning? Is it because it's I don't know? Is it stopping at a source, as maybe we said in the first half?
I think it's like 9 Premier League games home Premier League games in a row. We have conceded now, so that's a lot. You'd expect City to be getting quite a few clean sheets, being the champions and so dominant in games. But it's a lot of it is down to the style of play. It's the Pep's approach. He's so front foot and aggressive in our attacking play that you are going to leave yourself. It's almost impossible not to then leave yourself open when you commit so many bodies forward.
Of course.
Like I say, there are certain things you can do. Like I say, the one with one of the fullbacks, Rico today, stepping into that central midfield area. Okay, step in maybe when we're building up, but then get out quicker into your actual shape, because that's where they attacked us a lot first up. But it's those little tweaks, and it's, like I say, it sounds simple, but it's difficult to do, and a lot of it is
cat and mouse, isn't it?
And it's sort of risk and reward. That's how we play. That's how the City style, and Pep's been so successful. We're not going to tell him suddenly change the way you play football now. But it's great. We're talking about how great the club is, and all the way through the whole football club, throughout the academy, all the way through all the younger age group teams. He's not going to change now, and we don't want him to.
Nor should he now.
Nor should he, exactly. So it's, like I say, it's that risk and reward. You come up against top teams now. Like I say, Fulham are a really good team today, and the way they set up was exactly right to come and play City at the Etihad, but they're still walking away with nothing. Like I say, City have found a way to win against what everyone's saying is an excellent Fulham team who've played really, really well on the day. But they go home with nothing.
They're patting the back and that's it.
Yeah. Well played. See you later.
Talking about stopping at source, and the chances today, if you isolate them, actually came from City being a bit sloppy on the ball. The goal came from Jack giving it away down in the corner. I think the 2 chances for Traore came. I think Kovacic was one, Bernardo Silva was the other. Normally when they keep the ball, it's just a little bit sloppy, and then getting them in the front foot as well. So as fantastic as we are possession and keeping the ball as well, sometimes this season, especially in the home games, we've been a little bit sloppy and giving the ball away, and that's gives the teams impetus to go ahead and attack.
Absolutely, and actually, I've just heard, as you said, the fact that we keep finding ways to do it. I think that's 30 games now in the Premier League unbeaten kits. I mean, that speaks for itself.
Well, that's the thing, but the reality of the situation is now you're hypercritical. We're actually looking for things. One at home again, Man City against a very good side. So fantastic. Normally everyone would be just waxing lyrical about that, but because we're so critical now, the standards are so high. Suddenly, if they can see the goal, or it's not everything going our way, analyse it and look at it and pick on little things. But, rightly so, because, Pep is striving for perfection. You never quite achieve that, for sure, as good as he is and as good as Man City are. But that's what he wants. So that's what we're all looking for as well.
Yeah, we are indeed. Sorry, Paul, I didn't know if you wanted to add to that as well.
No, I was just going to say about that perfection and what they want. They're as close to it as you can get.
Yeah, exactly.
Even what they're doing. And like I said before, if we are going to concede goals now, with that record 30 games unbeaten at the Etihad, it tells a story in itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Looking into that second half then, and Kit, we've been thinking, obviously the conversation is in that central midfield area, and Kovacic at the double today. Got the goal in the first half from the corner, took a deflection, but no deflection for that second goal.
No, it was a great take as well. I mean, the ball into him was really good. I think Sanderberg tried to nick it, couldn't quite get there, and the take from Kovacic was fantastic. His first touch, and an absolutely brilliant finish as well after that. So
it kind of mirrored the Chelsea goal a little bit with the way he opened up his body and then cut it back across as well.
Pulled it across the keeper. Yeah, it was a really good finish. But let's say it was a really good ball into him. The weighted pass was excellent. Just teased Sanderberg to try and get there, and he couldn't quite get there. Then a brilliant first touch and set himself up for a great finish.
2-1, and then the pick of the bunch for the goal. After a couple of substitutions, we had John Stones come on. Jeremy Doku had come on a bit before that, and my goodness, that's got to definitely be a contender for goal of the month, hasn't it, Paul?
It was an unbelievable finish, and ironically, talking about teams hitting us in the counter, we ended up hitting Fulham in the counter because 5 minutes before it, they had really good possession. Fulham created a lot of chances, but when the ball comes out to Doku, he's got that little... I won't even try and do it because I'll probably dislocate my hip if something like that. And he's cut inside and just an absolute rocket into the top corner. That's the difference, as well as Fulham have played today, they weren't clinical. The one counter we do get on the second half, the quality we've got coming off the bench, which we spoke about before the game. Yeah. Before it's in.
And we spoke about the players who are different. So we had Jack and Bernardo, who were the control players, if you like. Yeah. And then Doku come on, who's pace.
Yes.
For the counter, hence we scored the third goal. So it was good, clever tactical substitutions at the right time that's gone and paid off.
Yeah, we can see some celebrations here. This is Nunes and Savinho in the tunnel moments ago, giving it the griddy. Of course, the Doku celebration. But I mean, he's been honest and spoke about one area he wants to improve is that end product, and actually seeing a glimpse now of that. I mean, I've seen him have some nice finishes, but that seemed a rocket. So it's nice to see as well. That's another facet to his game that we'll probably get to see more and more throughout the season.
And he'll only get better. He was unbelievable last season for a young boy coming into a team like Man City and to have the impact that he did because, he was up against Jack, Phil, all the other fantastic wingers that we've had. And he came in and done well, but then he had a little dip towards the end of the season where people were saying that he had to be more consistent with his end product as well. And he's working on it. But you've seen today, he's the ability that he's got, and he's a game changer.
Yeah.
Whether it's beating a man, getting an assist, or cutting inside and sticking it in the top corner, he's got that in his locker, and we're going to see more and more of that.
Arsenal winning today, Liverpool winning today. Liverpool still top by 1 point, but of course we go into this international break still unbeaten, which is great. But how important was it making sure we won that, especially when they scored that second goal with 6 minutes to go, Kit?
Yeah, I think it was vital to, as we say, find a way to get the 3 points today. You look at the table now, it was a massive 3 points for us. To still be sitting very nicely, like I say, going into that international break now. So for
not necessarily being at our best either.
Yes. No, exactly. Yeah, not quite there. But we keep saying, everyone says it. Second half of the season after Christmas, City get on a real roll, sort of thing. So to be sitting where we are now, I think everyone will be pretty pleased with themselves.
Speaking of that international break, Paul, we spoke about it. Does feels very congested to say. We've already had an international break. We've got another one coming up now, and I'm sure I think there's one not soon after it. The biggest focus is always no injuries, and then hopefully we'll get our full rota of players coming back as well.
Yeah, it's like every manager up and down the country. That's the one thing that they're hoping for, that they go away and they all come back healthy and fit for the next run of games that they've got coming. Yeah, and I think hopefully as well, I think Ake should be returning soon, Kevin De Bruyne, fingers crossed. Then we have Wolves that we come back to. They're probably going to be a bit more tricky of opponent than we think, do you reckon, Kit?
Well, they're a bit sort of wounded at the minute. I think Wolves, they're not in a great vein of form at all, but they'll be looking to bounce back. They've always been a decent side over the last couple of years, so you would expect them to pose quite a few problems for us. Yeah, well, that'll be the game that we'll come back to. Remember, Matchday Live will be with you for that. Before we wrap up, though, of course, we've got our Guess the Position game that we play with myself and our guests, and it finished today
at 58% possession for Manchester City, which I think, again, credit to Fulham. So that means that you got 6 points, Kit, because you get 64. I was well off it, 10 points there. It was, I guess, 68 and you get 74, Paul. We were,
just move on.
Yeah, very here's the leaderboard as well. Steve, how are we there with a solid 0? Listen, long way to go yet. Same for the fantasy football as well. There's a lot of chat in our WhatsApp group. It's very early on. Natalie Pike, I'm talking about you. Right.
I made the great decision of triple captain Haaland today.
Sorry, Paul.
I keep telling you I was no good as a manager, and I'm even worse at
Listen, long season ahead yet, don't worry. Just a quick word as well, because even though we're going on an international break, the football doesn't stop us here. Our women's team are in action. We've got 4 games in the time that the men's team are away. West Ham, Barcelona, Liverpool and St. Pollen. The first 2 fixtures there, West Ham and Barcelona, are going to be played over at the Joy Stadium, which is the home stadium, of course, just across the way for our women's team. I think seat tickets are almost sold out, still plenty of standing. So if you're around, we'd love for you to come down. It's a great stadium, great evening to enjoy as well, and of course supporting our women's team who throughout these 4 weeks could also go top of the WSL. I mean, I think we've finished the most time second, so this season we're hoping to get that first spot, and your support would really help with that. It's been an okay start, and it feels like Gareth is building something, Paul, over there.
Yeah, they have, and I know he's got the team together that he now wants. You know, there was a few ins and outs. Brought in some really good players, and you know the disappointment from last season, the goal difference and everything else. I know that's really spurred them on, and the girls to go on and hopefully go one step further this season, and big Champions League games coming up as well. Absolutely,
as well. Qualified with that big result over Paris, so make sure you go and watch that. Listen, what an absolute treat. City did the business. Not as easy as we usually have it here at the Etihad, but 3 points all the same, and we go.
Start with James.
Hi, Pep. A really tough game for you.
No.
For your team today.
Tough? No. So easy.
And I mean, it's. Do you feel? I mean, obviously they created a hell of a lot of big chances which they couldn't take, and your keeper was excellent.
Listen,
today.
one is the chance I create. That is the truth. My feeling is the game was well played, but the chance was created, especially with Adama, because he's unstoppable. That guy. So not for any player can control. When he had the ball and make the first 1 or 2 touches and start to run, you are going to defend an 8-yard box. So 6-yard box is impossible to control him. So, but I think the game in the first half well played, but make a 1 or 2 transitions and makes one against an Eddie. Always had that feeling that, oh my God, what the chances they have. Yeah, that's true. But the game was well played, especially in the first half. We found the second, and after we played some minutes that, okay, we're going to score the third, we're going to control. In that moment, we were a little bit didn't know exactly what happened. After a fantastic goal for Jeremy, we could not take the ball. They put a lot of players, a lot of runners, and after it happened. But absolutely was a tough game, but we knew it. We spoke with the team, and we talked with the team and said, guys, today will be a tough game. After Champions League, they have a long week, and listen, they lost just 1 game in the first game in Old Trafford. The rest, they have incredible results, and they're playing really, really good. So many years, Marco, an exceptional manager, is there with them, and every season is getting better and better. So, and yeah, we have to deal with that. So when we have an incredible run of not losing game here at the stadium, it's because some of them we won in that way. So nothing in life is easy.
So what's the go, guys? Phil, in the middle.
A lot of other players have had a lot more spotlight, limelight, headlines than Matteo over the 12 months, 18 months since he's been here, but he's certainly stepping up to the plate now that, especially now that Rodri's out there, isn't he?
Yeah, maybe it happened because he scored 2 goals. He's not a guy who scored a goal. Maybe we saw Rodri with the goals he scored in that position. So yeah, listen, when they defend with 5 in the back, we start really well. In 2 minutes we have 2 chances. And they shape immediately 4-5 in the back. And when they defend in 5, there is 1 man free in the 80-yard box, that is Kovacic. Except Jimenez has to defend Kovacic. Otherwise, there are no transitions. So the 2 goals is because in that position they cannot defend it. And today, the first goal was brilliant, the second one as well. And we had to exploit more against teams that play 5 in the back. And Kova was really important. Now the opponents know that they cannot leave him alone, otherwise they can score a goal.
Rob, at the back, please.
But the team is obviously in good form. You've not been beaten yet this season, but do you have any concerns defensively? You've gone behind again early in the game. You haven't kept a clean sheet in the Premier League since Chelsea. Is that a concern to you at all?
Well, I would say except Mbemo against Brentford scored the first minute. The other ones we were playing really, really good when we conceded the goal. But yeah, of course, it's not nice always you come back with 0-1, but we create the chances to go 1-0, 2-0 in the first minutes of the game, and every single game would happen that. But of course, so always recover, always not easy. Sometimes I give credit. So the first goal, who expect Jimenez to do that incredible touch, you know? So why don't give credit to them more than be defensively bad? But yeah, there is action that you have to defend better. That's for sure, but step by step we'll improve.
Okay, we're setting embargo for 10:30 on Sunday evening. Start.
Kovacic at the double as City edge past Fulham. A.O. Kovacic scored twice, and Jeremy Doku grabbed a vital third as City secured a hard-earned 3-2 to win over Fulham. The visitors struck first after the Blues had gone close a couple of times, with Andreas Pereira scoring for the Cottagers on 26, but Kovacic levelled 6 minutes later and scored his second 2 minutes into the second half. Fulham, impressive throughout, went close to levelling on a couple of occasions, with sub Doku grabbing a superb late third to give City breathing space. However, a late strike by Rodrigo Muniz ensured Fulham were in the game up until the final kick of the game, and were arguably the best team City have faced at the Etihad this season. What happened? City could, and probably should, have been 2 goals up inside the first 4 minutes. First of all, the ball fell kindly for Ilkay Gundogan, who fizzed a low-angled shot narrowly past the right post, and moments later Erling Haaland found space behind the Fulham defence, but sent his shot just wide of the same upright. In fact, it was almost total City domination for the first 17 minutes until Adama Traore broke clear, but was denied by a fine Ederson save. The Blues continued to probe without really testing the Fulham keeper, and were made to pay on 27 minutes, when a hopeful header from Alex Iwobi found Raul Jimenez, who then backheeled the ball into the 6-yard box for Andreas Pereira to prod home from a couple of yards. A Fulham counter-attack down the right minutes later should have resulted in a second goal, but Traore shot over with just Ederson to beat.